Howdy y'all, Tex here again. Gonna give y'all last few stories. I have about 3 of them from my security days. And I'm sure I may think of more down the line, but these are just ones that stick out on my head, you know, that are there. Now, back in Pennsylvania, when I was doing movie set security, and it was actually on the same movie set. It was Sorority Row. At this point in time, I was actually in school, in class, for, you know, getting my EMT. So I wasn't there one night because I had class, and you know, they were working around my schedule for me. And I come in the next night, work my shift, and it's like, I come to find out that the night before, not 2 blocks away, they had a shooting down the street. And it was, you know, I'm like, okay, well, whatever, you know, this is not the best area, because that's where most of your tax incentives are, is not the best area. Anyway, I'm sitting there, and there were extra police that were patrolling during this. So me, another guard, and then a cop that was patrolling. You know, it's the middle of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you know. We're sitting there just talking, this cop, just having a conversation. And there's an intersection there that we could see. And it was a stop sign. It was a 4-way stop, if I remember correctly. But for the important part of this is that even if it wasn't a 4-way stop, the road that we were on, looking at that intersection, if it was not a 4-way stop, that was a road that had a right-of-way. There was a street that crossed it and had a stop sign on it. So here come this minivan, like hauling ass. You're in a residential area where I think the speed limit was 20 or 25. This dude had to have been going at least 45, if not 50 mile an hour. At 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and he runs the stop sign, and there was a dip there and kind of a little hill. This dude actually caught air going through the intersection, lifted the front wheels off the ground, and come back down, shot sparks, kept driving down the road. Don't know whether he had just engaged in some sort of criminal activity and was trying to make a run for it, or if he was just drunk or what. And we're sitting there looking at cop, and I looked at cop and I said, "You gonna chase him?" He says, "You know what?" He said, "He ain't shooting at me, and he ain't shot at anybody else. As long as nobody's shooting at anybody, I don't give a shit." I said, "Oh, it's one of these kind of areas." And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, whatever." Now, down in Texas, when I came back, I worked in Texas for security. When I first came back down to Texas, I was working at Texas Instruments as security. And I had just come off the ambulance, so I went there as a first responder security. So it was decent money. You know, it was and as a first responder on that shift, you know, if they called anything, you know, we still split up. We had, like, you do half, you do perimeter outside, you do stuff inside, and y'all, you know, change every hour or so. You know, nobody's stuck in the same area. But as a first responder security, you know, if they called basically any sort of incident for a medical or something like that, I mean, that was me. I was responding to that. I had to go and, you know, give first aid or do whatever, but basically be in charge of that scene until an actual EMS crew got there. So, or if it was fire or whatever else, anything, I was a first responder, so I had to, whatever the alarm or whatever was, I had to go check it out, verify what it was, and you know, get everything working there. So that was kind of fun. Then I moved down to central Texas, down around Waco down there. and I went to work for a different security company down there, and they actually started me out because I was living around Temple. I say the Waco area because originally I moved to Troy, which is halfway between basically Waco and Temple. I was working at a hospital there in Temple, and I mean, that was interesting stories there. One of the ones down there that really sticks out in my mind was I was working the emergency department one night, and you have an armed guard in the emergency department at this particular hospital. And I'm working down there with him, and we had a psychiatric patient in there. This guy was built like a brick shit house. I mean, there wasn't an ounce of fat on this guy. And his mother had been with him, and his mother, you know, he went to sleep or something, and his mother left, went home. And this guy woke up, and we didn't even know she had really gone home, but we told, well, we think your mom might have went to the bathroom, something like that. And okay, well, when his mom didn't come back, that's when things got a little rough. And he decided at that point in time that he needed to leave. Yeah, that didn't go over too well because we couldn't have that. So I'm sitting there with the armed guard, and this guy makes a break for it. And the armed guard caught him before I did. And the armed guard was an older guy than I was. We're running down the hallway, and of course I had to jump over a damn office chair because there wasn't all that much room. You got 3 guys running down the hallway and 2 of them next to each other. I had to jump over a chair. But he got the guy up top around the shoulders, and I got the guy down there in the bottom around his legs. And we all went ass over tea kettle right through the damn double doors into the emergency waiting room. What was great about this is that the security office is actually in, you know, right there. You would walk through the emergency entrance. There's double doors. When you walk through the first set of doors, to the right's the security office. When you walk through the second set of double doors, it was right there into the waiting room. And it was shift change. So within a minute, it went from 2 of us to 6 of us on this guy. And we got him restrained, and we got him back into a room and everything. But I'm going to tell y'all, people, I got a few more stories about that. Since this is already an 8-minute video, I'm going to go ahead and make another video telling y'all some hospital security stories, and then some other place, another place I work security at.